Good morning, class 6 children. Let us begin lesson number 20 of English grammar, active and passive voice. Voice is that form of the verb which indicates whether the subject is the doer of the action or something is being done to it. Let's have a quick recap. We have already learned what is subject. The subject in a sentence is the doer of an action in many cases. Verbs in a sentence which require a direct object to complete their meaning are called transitive verbs. We are going to learn about two types of voice, and they are active voice and passive voice. Active voice, when the subject of a sentence does an action, we say that the sentence is in the active voice. We will always find the construction of active voice as follows. Subject, who is the doer of an action, plus verb plus object. For example, first one, the boy hit the ball. Now here, boy is a subject, hit is a verb, and ball is an object. Here, the boy is a doer of action, is a subject. That means this sentence is in active voice. The subject, the boy, is a doer of the action. So this sentence is in active voice. Second, Namita sang a song. Namita is a subject, sang is a verb, a song is an object. So Namita here is a doer of an action. So Namita sang a song is in active voice. Third, Naman kicked the ball. Naman is subject, kicked is verb, and the ball is an object. That means Naman is a doer of an action. He kicked the ball. So this sentence is also in active voice. Kanak writes a letter. Kanak is a subject, writes is a verb, a letter is an object. So this sentence is also in active voice. Mohan eats an apple. Mohan is a doer of an action. He eats an apple. So this is also in active voice. Active voice is appropriate when active voice adds clarity and places responsibility where it belongs. Active voice can make our writing more vivid. Passive voice, when the subject is not the doer of an action but something is done to it, the sentence is said to be in the passive voice. Let us have a look on the construction of the passive voice. Subject plus auxiliary verb plus main verb, that is past participle. Example, fish is eaten by cat. A song was sung by Namita. Here, a song is a subject, but a song is not a doer of an action. Was sung is a verb and Namita is an object, but the subject is not the doer of an action. So this sentence is in passive voice. Generally, you will always find a preposition in a passive voice. The ball was kicked by Naman. A letter is written by Kanak. An apple is eaten by Mohan. Passive voice is appropriate if the action is more important than the agent, if the agent is not known, to connect ideas in different clauses or sentences more clearly. While changing a sentence from the active to passive voice, the following points have to be remembered. First one, the object of the verb in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. Let us make it more clear through an example. Naman kicked the ball. As we saw, Naman is a subject, kicked is the verb, and the ball is an object. Here, Naman is the doer of action, so this sentence is in active voice. When we are converting it into passive voice, the ball, which is an object in active voice, will become the subject in passive voice. The ball was kicked by Naman. In the above example, Naman was the subject in a sentence which is in the active voice. He is the doer of the action. And in sentence B, the ball is the subject but it is not the doer of the action. The subject of the active voice is expressed as by plus agent in the passive voice. Second thing we are going to remember that, see the previous example, Naman was the subject in active voice, but in the passive voice he is the agent. So we write by Naman in the passive voice. Naman, the place of Naman has been changed. The form of the verb is changed according to the tense. Verb changes into perfect tense form. For example, Kanak writes a letter. This is an active voice. Here, a letter will come to the first position. It will become subject in passive voice. A letter is written by Kanak. Kanak is the doer of the action in sentence A, and a letter is the subject in sentence B, but it is not the doer of the action. Now let us discuss a few examples of the verb write in different tense forms given below. Active voice, write. In passive voice it will become is written, because write here is in simple present tense. Write is written. Am writing is being written. Wrote was written. Was writing was being written. Personal pronouns also change in the passive voice. Here we are going to see how the personal pronouns also change in the passive voice. In active voice, I becomes me in passive voice. We becomes us. He becomes him. She, her. They, them. For example, I eat an apple. This is an active voice. I is a pronoun here. In passive voice it will be an apple is eaten by me. So I has been converted to me in passive voice. This will become more clear when we solve examples. Let's practice. Read the following sentences and state whether they are in the active or passive voice. We have already learned about active and passive voice. Here you are just going to identify whether the following statements are in active voice or passive voice. First one, the parcel was delivered by the postman. Sita painted a portrait. The teacher distributed the answer sheets. The poem was written by John Keats. I will pluck all the flowers in the evening. Rishan has completed the project. The thief was caught by the police. These answers you are going to write in your grammar notebook along with the sentences given here, and then in the next session we will be discussing answers. Thank you so much, children.